Murderville is a Netflix hybrid improv script comedy starring Will Arnett and a various list of celebrities. It's based on the BBC Three sitcom Murder in Successville and was developed by Kristen Johnson, who previously worked on other comedies such as Wet Hot American Summer, Another Period, and Children's Hospital. Right now, we're talking about the 6 episodes, giving our ratings, discussing our favorite and least favorite moments, and jumping into the reviews. It's Wednesday, middle of February, and you're listening to today's episode. Let's begin with the litmus test. Do you want the show to get another season, and do you think it will?
Yes and yes, because I know that it's been popular on Netflix. It's like in the top 10, and also this show is funny.
You saw it trending.
Yeah, that's the main reason why this show was made, just to be funny. I don't think it has any like shocking twists in it or anything like that. It just had to be funny, and I think it succeeded in that.
Well, if you had to compare it to some other shows, what would they be?
Probably Joe Schmo Show, Comedy Bang Bang, and SNL, just because of the Joe Schmo Show, like the improv aspect of it. Same thing kind of like with SNL and Comedy Bang Bang, where they bring in like a special guest every single episode.
Well, it's interesting that you say the Joe Schmo Show, though, because the improv comedy in that is awkward because the person doesn't know that they're in a comedy show. They think that they're in a reality TV series. Well, everyone's aware that it's a improv comedy.
Yeah.
To me, it reminded me of the Ryan Hansen Solves Crimes on Television show, the YouTube television series that I think it bombed, but it got 3 seasons, and he was teamed up with a partner that was also famous, and sometimes celebrities came into the mix as well. And it was scripted, but I think there was a steady amount of improv in there, and it's just another cop show, right? Like, That's what this inherently is. It's just them spoofing a cop show.
Well, yeah, completely. I was also waiting for Jennifer Aniston to show up.
Yeah, you thought that they were going to do like a flashback episode?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, they use her picture.
Well, let's get into who's in it in a second. The other shows that I wanted to compare it to were any of the Rob Hubel shows that have come out lately, like Want to See a Dead Body. They even say Want to See a Dead Body as one of their lines in the show, which I think is a callback to it. Medical Police. As I said, the creator worked on Children's Hospital, so this isn't a surprise, and Rob Hubel is in the show. I Think You Should Leave.
I mean, how so?
Sloppy Steaks. Sloppy Jalapenos. A lot of people online were making the connection between the two of those.
That they take place in the same world?
No, that it was just a callback to that episode. And then No Activity. And I understand No Activity is more scripted, right? It's a scripted comedy.
Yeah.
However, you do have people like Jessica Alba playing herself and acting like an outrageous version of herself.
Yeah, but like the people that were cast here weren't playing an outrageous version of themselves.
You don't think so?
I mean, maybe Ken Jeong because he laughed at everything, but except for that, I didn't really think so, no.
Mm-hmm. I would like to participate in a show like this where I get to pay to be one of the people who, like, it seems like a good day out, you know?
Well,
like, okay, I'm going to buy someone's birthday pass, which is they're going to go hang out with a bunch of improv artists and they're going to teach them how to solve a murder or something.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like the improv person, there's just a ton of different things you can do. Like there's a ton of different situations that you have to be a part of. It seemed like it was fun.
Yeah, so let's describe the show itself. There's Terry Seattle, played by Will Arnett, who seems to be Netflix's darling of the decade because he's been in Arrested Development, Flaked, BoJack Horseman, series of unfortunate events, now this. And then you have Rhonda, the chief, playing his ex-wife, who comes in there and kind of solves the case at the end for you if the person gets it wrong, if the celebrity gets it wrong.
All right. I mean, like, also, if she gets it right, like, she'll point out things that the person said.
And then there's Lori, who plays the dead partner, who is Jennifer Aniston, but she's literally just a picture for the whole entire thing.
Yeah, she's not
she's not in the show. She's participating. And then there's Amber Kane, who is the coroner/forensic scientist, depending on which episode you're looking at. She's sometimes at the crime scene, sometimes showing you the body when it's back at the morgue. Mm-hmm. And then you have Daz, the detective, who is now dating Rhonda, the ex-wife.
Yeah, that happens in episode 3. And
it keeps on going, right? Like, that's one of the few trending storylines throughout the entire series.
I'm sure we're going to see it in season 2, too.
Yeah. So you know how they put Will Arnett's voice in the background for a lot of the narration? He didn't actually do the narration for the very first part, though, where they introduce the celebrity and the point of the game. Like, that's someone else. So they put a narrator on there, like with a deep voice, and then Will Arnett's deep voice comes in doing another narration.
But they never changed it, like, except for the person's name that was guessing that episode as to who was going to be the killer. They never changed the intro to that.
Yeah, but it's just explaining the rules for you. Right. And it kind of just throws you in there expecting you to get it, and it's pretty fast. Like, the only thing that it took me a couple episodes to get was that because Conan got his right the first time, I thought that it was whoever they chose was the killer. and that like it didn't matter.
No, that would take away all like the fun of it.
But it took me until they started getting it wrong where I was like, oh, they actually have a set method, and Conan just randomly guessed the right dude.
Yeah. I feel like that's also what Marshawn Lynch tried to do, but like you said, he just put all his eggs in one basket and then ended up getting it wrong.
Yeah, well, all the celebrities tried, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just all picked up on different stuff. And if you were paying attention for the last few episodes, at least, it was pretty evident who was the actual murderer.
After like the first 3 episodes,
you kind of got the point. The format is very simple. There's explain the rules, introduce the guest star, review the murder, interview 3 suspects. Last suspect is usually with an earpiece where Will Arnett sends you in and then he makes you talk, except for, who was it? Who did?
Ken Jeong in the last episode.
And Sharon Stone. She didn't have to do it. Yeah. They did some weird sort of like surgery. And then they choose the killer at the end and see if they get it right. Yeah. As far as who the celebrities are, you have Conan and the magician's assistant. That was the first episode. And then we have Marshawn Lynch in Triplet Homicide, Kumail Nanjiani in Most Likely to Commit a Murder, Anne Murphy, Murder by Soup, and Sharon Stone in Heartless, and Ken Jeong?
Yeah, Ken Jeong.
Yeah, he's the last. So out of those, who is the weirdest get, like, for them? Who was the most surprising? I know who I would pick, yeah.
I would pick, I picked Sharon Stone.
I agree.
Because, like, everyone else was either a comedian or had some type of comedic talent.
Or you've seen them in other things like this.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that she's done recently that we would have maybe seen her in, but we didn't because we only did the first episode, was Ratched, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
She had a small arc on that, but she doesn't really do a ton of comedies. Like, maybe a sitcom here or there, but nothing.
And definitely no, like, improv or anything like that.
And she did a great job, I think.
I mean,
she played it serious, which I don't think enough people do. But so when I say she did a great job, I mean, like, for her, she did, like, excellent, because I wasn't expecting much.
Right, but that I think would cause her downfall, because she ended up getting it wrong because she took serious, and the whole entire point of the episode was I was usually supposed to be the most outrageous or
She actually seemed like she was trying to act, though. Like, especially when he was like, okay, she's German, and then she actually put on a German accent. Yeah. Some of them would, like, break there and then just start doing a really terrible accent. Hers at least was passable, for on the fly.
Yeah, no, I agree. But out of all the episodes, I'd probably say that one ranked like my last.
Oh, we'll get to the ratings pretty soon, yeah. But as far as the rest of them, I'm thinking that this feels sort of like an ad show where it's events, like a late night show where they're coming in to kind of self-promote themselves because Conan, he just is coming off his own show. He has his podcast, which he's doing now, and he's also producing comedy specials on HBO. So it feels like he's still trying to keep himself in the ether of comedy. Maybe it was also just because he likes hanging out with these dudes. And then there's Marshawn Lynch, who is trying to make that transition to acting. We've seen him in several things now. Westworld. He was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, too, for a couple episodes. So I think he's trying to either make his transition into full-time acting like John Cena, or he might be considering going back to the NFL. You never know with the guy. Or pitching himself for more Skittles commercials.
You really think that he's thinking about going back to the NFL?
He's only 35 years old.
Yeah,
well, Frank Gore played till he was 58.
Yeah, and Calvin Johnson retired at 30, right?
Wide receiver, running back, different positions. All right, Kumail Nanjiani, he also has to return.
Obviously.
He has to recover from his Eternal stuff.
And Stuber.
Well, Stuber was a while ago. He's actually going to be in a new Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Why is he starting to do all of these blockbuster type things?
Well, that's why I think that this is great promotion for him. It's keep me in the limelight, keep me around, so that people are happy to see me when I show up.
I mean, places. He's a funny guy to have in the show.
And then Anne Murphy, she's from Kevin Can Fuck Himself, which we did for the podcast. However, that's been canceled for season 3, but the season 2 hasn't even come out yet. So she's still promoting it.
I didn't even know it was canceled.
Yeah, it just ended. Yeah. They're like, we're not going to re-up after season 2. And then there's Sharon Stone, who is going to be in the next season of Flight Attendant. And as I said, she hasn't been doing much before that for the last couple of years.
But that's another comedy that she's going to be in.
That's what I mean, is that this is easing her into it. This is the first time, because that season hasn't come out yet either.
Right, yeah.
And then the biggest question online was, who do you want to see come in next? If it gets another season, there are so many people that are being thrown out there, mostly comedians, but who would be your favorite picks?
I'd like to see Andy Samberg maybe, or Warren
That's
Lapkus.
one of them. Yeah, people said Bill Hader, Andy Samberg, a lot of the SNL cast, Fred Armisen, And then you have Ben Schwartz, Thomas Middleditch, because they're a Netflix special. They did the improv comedy themselves. So
I think
they'd
Ben
be
Schwartz,
hilarious.
like having both of them in the same episode?
Maybe. I mean, they could switch it up for season 2, but either one of them, like, they would have run circles around Will Arnett. He would have started like some bit that they had scripted for them, and they would have just gone wild.
Well, I think one of the best things about the show is when Will Arnett breaks.
Yeah.
And like, I mean,
if you can break the host of the show, which is something that they weren't able to do very often in the original UK series, but we'll get into the UK series in a second. But are there any other people you can think of? Because I can just give you some names.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Jason Bateman.
The
Arrested Connection. The Kristen Bell, who actually was in the Ryan Hansen thing.
Right, but
and
like,
she also has that connection with Netflix right now.
In the show, I think that'd be odd. Oh yeah, because she does do improv, right? She did improv with like Don Cheadle and the whole.
Yeah, and she knows Ben Schwartz too because they were in that one show. Colbert, people want to see Colbert. Joe Rogan.
Are you really?
No. I mean, Joe Rogan would be weird. I saw one person put that, so I decided to put it down. And then Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo Samuel would be great adding to the football players.
Is that your opinion?
That's my opinion.
Yeah, okay,
I added one, and that was Deebo. Okay, so now we can rank the episodes. Rank your episodes in order of best to worst. Let's just start simple.
All right, I had Conan.
Conan's your favorite.
Yeah, Kumail.
So the first episode.
Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani.
That's the third episode.
Anne Murphy.
That's the fourth episode or second?
That's the fourth episode.
Fourth episode.
And then I had Marshawn Lynch.
Second episode.
Ken Jeong.
Last episode.
And Sharon Stone.
Okay. So you really like the Conan one.
Yeah, because I feel like Conan was able to bring, like, a lot of the people there were funny, but, like, I didn't think that they really brought their, like, full comedic talent to it. Like, Ken Jeong, I like in a lot of stuff, including Community and the Hangover series and stuff like that. But he literally laughed just all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him, like, actually providing things that
he was just having a good time.
Yeah.
And he has his own show to promote, that, like, singing show, right?
Oh, yeah, The Masked Singer.
Yeah. So I didn't get to talk about his, but, yeah. All right, now I want you to rank them in order of best detective.
Best detective. I thought the best detective was Conan actually again because
no, he was not.
Listen,
he was not.
Listen,
I saw that episode.
There was only 3 people on the whole show. Like there was half the people that got it right and half the people that got it wrong. And I feel like Conan actually had a reasoning for picking the magician. While it was like with Kumail Nanjiani and Anne Murphy, I think those were the 2 others that
Can
got
you name
right.
off the killers real quick? Do you remember who they were?
No.
Okay, well let's try. Okay, so we got the killer magician in the first one, played by David Wayne, who actually performed magician tricks on the show. But, like,
right, yeah.
He's the creator of Children's Hospital, yeah. And then
that's where I know him from.
Yeah, he's shown up in a bunch. He was in Wet Hot American Summer too.
Isn't he married to one of the people in Children's Hospital?
He very well could be. I mean, everybody's married to everybody. Okay. So, and then there was Rob Hubel, who just one of his versions, the one who was in the cave.
Yeah, he was actually my favorite killer because of the fact that he had to play 3 separate characters. I thought that was somewhat difficult, but it was like cool seeing him do all of those different things.
Especially when you think that they don't actually do too many cuts of this. Like, they want to see organic reactions from the celebrities, so it's only if they miss something in the script that they have to get in there that they'll redo a scene.
I think the killer's name was Chad. I believe that was the killer's name. But yeah.
And then in the third episode, which was Kumail, I didn't see that one, but who was the murderer?
There was a boat guy. There was someone who was, like, I think popular in high school and, like, owned a boat, and he ended up being the killer.
So the boat guy was the murderer. Did Kumail get it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the fourth one, which was
Anne Murphy.
Anne Murphy, and she got it wrong, I think.
No,
right?
she got it right. It was the teacher.
Right? Oh, no, she did, because she walked towards the wrong one, and then she got the right one. Yeah. And then you got the fifth one was Sharon Stone, and she got it wrong. She got fired, because that's what happens at the end. And then...
if you get it wrong.
And then the last one?
The last one was Ken Jeong, and he got it wrong.
What? He's a doctor.
You didn't see the Ken Jeong one?
No, not yet. I'll see it afterwards. I only saw a couple of the episodes. I didn't have time to watch all of them like you. That's why you're doing the ratings. So as far as Best Detective, rank them.
I would put Sharon Stone in number 2 because I felt like she actually, like you were saying, she was actually trying.
Yes.
Even though she ended up getting it wrong, and there are some people who are, I think, down below that got it right. You could tell that, like, she actually wanted... She was one of the few people where you could see the determination where she was like, I want to actually get this right.
Like, if you wanted a murder to actually be solved, you would choose her. I think Anne Murphy tried for a while, too, didn't she?
Yeah.
So she up there?
She was, my number 3.
Okay, and then 4?
4, I'd probably put Kumail Nanjiani.
Is Ken Jeong going to be last because of his laughing?
No, it's just the fact that Ken Jeong, like, it didn't feel... No, actually, Ken Jeong's number 5. Because I do think
You think
that...
Marshawn's last?
Yeah, because
People put Marshawn first?
Marshawn literally said, I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket, which is something I don't usually do.
You wouldn't want to do it as a police officer.
And then he just gets.
So it was funny, but it wasn't good. Okay, so then who broke the worst? Like, put them in order of who was able to keep it together the best.
Oh, well, Ken Jeong was...
So he would be 1 or 6?
He was 6. Last, yeah.
So last.
Number 5, I'd say... Conan, probably.
Conan broke a few times.
Yeah.
He kept it together for the most part, especially with the hot sauce. That was like a Hot Ones episode.
Yeah. Number 4, I'd say, was Kumail Nanjiani. Number 3, Anne Murphy. Number 2, Marshawn Lynch. And number 1, Sharon Stone.
So... Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Do you remember Sharon Stone breaking it all?
Barely. Like, I think there was like a hint of a smile once or twice. And then as far as your favorite killer,
Rob Hubel. Yeah.
Rob Hubel, you said that already. Okay. There's been some dissonance of opinion. Although the show has been received mostly positively, there are places that have a more mediocre to negative review. The Guardian...
Our favorite review source.
Well, our favorite review because they're so scathing to some things, called every scene cringy.
Well, it's supposed
and gave
to be.
it 2 stars. No, they have a right to complain, though, I think, because the original show, if you've watched it, and from the people who have watched it, the reviews I've seen them given, is much more negative because they think that the original is so much better.
I mean, I can see that.
They're saying it's not as good as the original, but if you haven't seen the original and you just go into this, I think you're bound to like it.
And that's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original didn't actually have celebrities. They just talked about them as if they did. So, like, there would be a person playing Simon Cowell, and he would be the mayor of the town. And then there would be a person playing Miley Cyrus.
It's almost like...
And she would be... Yeah.
It's almost like Eric Andre in, like, the early first seasons when they couldn't get actual famous people. They would always say...
No, but they're improv artists, I think. And the comedy is just more British and awkward, and it probably... This, they felt, was way too polished. Because there were scripted scenes, and everyone kind of had a cookie-cutter box cut of what was going to happen.
And I will say that, like, the scenes in which... Because it always... Before the crime scene ended up happening, it always went to a scene between Will Arnett and the actor where they would just talk right before a dead body occurred. Those scenes I never really found funny. I never really thought that they hit their mark.
I feel like that's the whole show, though, and I do feel like they hit their mark on occasion. There were some scenes that dragged on, but you're saying all of those ones.
I'm seeing
just
that.
The introduction.
Yeah, just the introduction between the two of them. Yeah.
The Detective Bagabitch or whatever that Marshawn Lynch wanted to change his name to, that was not in the script. So, like, you could see Will Arnett have to, like, struggle with how he was going to bring it back. Yeah. So he ended up doing that phone call.
Yeah, the phone call. And he's like, okay, we're working on it.
Now bring in the body, or the murder. The other grievance that the Guardian had, which I do agree with, is that there was really no need for the earpiece, because usually in that type of scene, like in Impractical Jokers, where someone is told to say something, the funniness is in the awkwardness of knowing that they're having to do it in front of people who actually don't know what's going on. Yeah. So, like, it's real awkwardness. But he was just doing it in front of, like, Rob Hubel and a bunch of other people who were in on the joke. So it shouldn't be as funny as it was.
And the only person who was doing the earpiece thing was the person who wasn't in on the joke.
And maybe that's why they phased it out near the end, you know? Hollywood Reporter also gave it more of a middling review. They said clever puzzles buried in a lackluster comedy. The guest star improv isn't allowed to much leeway to, like, expand itself. Also true, because I would really have liked to see, like, the celebrity coming in there, being able to guide where they're going and stuff like that. I know they don't have the budget, and it's really unfair to, like, go after them for that, because, like, this is a low budget, funny improv comedy.
Yeah, overall,
so don't judge it on more than that.
I just give it a 7. Like, it did what it was supposed to. It made me laugh for most of the episodes, and yeah, of course,
that's a 7.1 on IMDb.
Yeah, here and there it's going to have, like, drags, but for the most part, it's what I expected, and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. I did find it funny in the reviews, though, that some of them would go after, like, Will Arnett's performance, and the other ones would be like, he's hilarious. And then some of them would be like, the celebrities were all the same, and then the other ones were like, they're so different. And so it's just depending on who you were reading and who you agreed with. And but at the same time, I understood the nuances in kind of both ways of seeing it. And it does make me want to go back and watch some of the original show to see if maybe I will be less kind to this one.
Yeah.
But I do want this show to continue. I want to see some more people in it. I just wish that they would do it kind of like The Circle, where they release it every few months as opposed to every year.
Yeah.
Because, like, 6 episodes is not that much.
If this takes 18 months, it's like I'm not going to be as into it.
It doesn't seem like it would take that long to shoot. All right. Well, that's my review, and that's your review. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. Bye.